Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. We will be making kale chips. This is a simple recipe that doesn't call for too many ingredients. You might already have these ingredients in your cupboard, so all you might need to do is get a fresh bunch of kale. Kale chips can satisfy your craving for something crunchy without all of the saturated fat and sodium found in potato chips. Even better, kale chips are simple to make at home, so you can always have a nutritious snack on hand. When I learned how to make kale chips, I kid you not, I made them like every day for 2 weeks because they were so delicious. I couldn't wait to get home and bake kale and eat them
and munch on them because I was
so happy that I was able to find something that satisfied my urge for chips because I love potato chips, but it's not always the best thing for me to eat, even though I do indulge in potato chips. When I learned how to make kale chips, I was so excited, and that inspired me to get a dehydrator. But even without a dehydrator, you can make kale chips. Kale on its own contains about 33 calories and less than 1 gram of fat per cup, compared to 1 ounce of potato chips, which contains 154 calories and 10.3 grams of fat, of which 1.1 of that is saturated fat. Even if you drizzle a serving of kale chips with a teaspoon of oil, such as olive oil, you'll only add 40 calories and 4.5 grams of fat, which is still less than that 1 ounce of potato chips. So in my book, kale chips wins. It is a good source of vitamin C, a nutrient that repairs cartilage and keeps your skin, bones, tendons, and ligaments healthy. Kale is also an excellent source of vitamin K, a vitamin that enables blood to clot normally. Oven roasting won't affect vitamin K, but on the other hand, it loses some of the beta carotene and vitamin C. But kale is so high in these vitamins that it is still a good source after it's been baked. Come and join me as we make kale chips today. What you will be needing will be 1 bunch of kale, half of a lemon, some smoked paprika, salt and pepper, and I like to use olive oil, but I'm sure you can use any other oil that you may have. So come on and let's make kale chips. What I like to do is I like to give my vegetables a vinegar bath. So what I do is I add water and 1/4 cup of vinegar. Since I don't wash a large amount of vegetables at once, I like to use this. But if you have a large amount of vegetables to wash, you can fill your sink halfway up with water and add 1 cup of vinegar and let your vegetables soak in there for 5 to 7 minutes. The first step. You're going to go ahead and wash your kale, and then we're going to go ahead and dry it, and I will show you how I do that without a spinner. It's okay if there's a little water in them since they're going to be baked or dehydrated. It's okay. It's not going to damage your chips in any way. It won't make them soggy. So if you have a little bit of water in that, it's okay. And then the next thing I do is I take my large mixing bowl and then I start adding my kale into here. Now I like to take the stems off. One by one. You can use 1 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and you can drizzle. I like to drizzle half of it and then mix that up. I add a dash of salt and pepper. You can add as much as you want, or don't have to add any salt or pepper to it. You can just add paprika and your lemon. I usually add 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoons depending on how spicy I want it. It's all up to you, whatever you like. If you don't like it too spicy, don't add too much, but if you like it nice and spicy, go ahead and add a good amount. And I add the rest of the olive oil. get in there. You want to make sure that all the kale is nicely covered with your spices and your olive oil and your lemon juice. There's really no right or wrong way of making kale chips, so whatever spices you like, you can go ahead and add them to this. I like to just keep it with paprika, depending on what I'm craving, and I'm usually craving something spicy, so I add paprika. Sometimes I add a little cumin or nutritional yeast, but I'm keeping this recipe nice and simple. And then I like to let this sit while I preheat my oven. While your oven is preheating, you want to go ahead and line a baking sheet with parchment paper and spread your kale chips out. Now, like with the rest of us, we all like our personal space, so give the kale chips some space so then they all can come out crunchy and you won't get any soft spots and some burn spots. So you want to go ahead and evenly spread them out. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, and I'm going to come back and check on them and make sure that nothing's burnt. And then, so here we are at 15 minutes, and the kale is still a little soft. None of them are done yet. I'm going to go ahead and rotate them and set my timer for another 15 minutes and then come and check on them. Once we are all done baking them, this was 3 trays worth of kale, and 1 bunch will equal a full bowl of kale chips. It took 30 minutes for each tray to cook. It didn't take an hour because I didn't add a lot of kale to the tray. So the more you add to the baking tray, the longer it will take to cook. And they are nice and crunchy, and they taste delicious. I hope you will enjoy this recipe as much as I do, and I hope you will join me for my next recipe. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a wonderful day.